Hello, this is Coding Money and welcome back to the JavaScript Algorithms and Data Structure series, video number 8. Today we need to write a function that accepts a positive number n. The function should console log a step shape with n levels using the pound character. Make sure the step has spaces on the right hand side. Here are some examples. The function accepts n number, and if we are provided with number 2, this should be the output. Okay, so give this problem a try and pause the video right here. Alright, thank you for trying to solve this problem. If you were able to find a solution, that's great. If not, it doesn't matter. We will work on this problem together. I think first we need to focus on printing something like this. It would be easier for us to print something like this, and then we will worry about the spaces later. Let's do this one, and then we'll take it from there. As you might have already guessed, we need a loop. So I'll write the for loop I equals to 1, I less than or equal to n, I plus plus. Okay, so one thing I've noticed that beginners are confused about whether they should start from 1 or 0. If they want to start from 0, then I'll make sure that the condition is I less than n. But if they want to start from 1, then the condition has to be I less than or equal to n. So that's important to note. For now, I'm just going to console log the pound sign. I'm going to save it and run it. As you can see, we get the 3 pounds, but we need 9 pound symbols, 3 on each line. Okay, so to do that, we would need to use a nested loop. I noticed that the beginner developers find working with the nested loops difficult. They struggle with it. I'm going to give you a way to make it easier. If you visualize what you want to do in terms of a table containing rows and columns, it makes it a lot easier. So let's try to do that. I'm going to rename my variable. I'll change it to row, and then I will create a nested loop, and I'll make this a column. So the nested loop, the outer loop will be responsible for the row, and the inner loop will be responsible for creating all the columns in that row. So if you think about it this way, then it would be much easier to work with the nested loops from now on. Okay, so let's console log here just to show you what you get as the output. As you can see, we're getting 8 pound symbols in the output, but we need only 3 pounds on each line, so it's going to be a 3 by 3 pound symbols, and we need that in the output. Okay, so how to do that? Okay, so I want to create all the columns. I want to create an empty variable called line. I will set it to empty string. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to append the pound symbol to this line. So after it completes, it adds the pound symbol for all of the columns for that row. I want to console log that line. Okay, let me save this and run. As you can see, we're getting the desired output, right? All right, so the best way to visualize the code that I've written here so far by debugging it. So let me run the debugger. I have set a breakpoint on the first loop. Let me watch for some variables. Let me watch for row and col and line. Okay, and let's run this. Okay, so the outer loop starts at 1, and then we initialize the variable line to empty string, and then it executes the inner loop. It starts the inner loop at 1, column 1, and then it appends the pound symbol to the line variable. Then it will increment the column to 2, and then it will append another pound, as you can see, and then it increments to column 3. And since we're provided with a number n, you see n is 3, so now we know that the inner loop will break, and so the row will increment. Now we're working on the second row, and then again we initialize the line to an empty string, and then the inner loop will run 3 times to append 3 pound to the line, and then we'll console log the second line. Now we're working with the third line in the loop, and it initialize the line, and then we're appending the pound sign to the line, and then once row is equal to 4, the condition becomes false, so it exits the loop. So this is the code. When you have trouble understanding the code, it's always a good idea to debug it. Okay, so now we know what this is doing. Now we need to take care of the spaces on the right side. We need to do what, let me illustrate that what we need to do here. So we need to replace the for the first line, we need to have 2 spaces. On the second line, we need to have 1 space. Now we need to work on getting an output like this. It will be easier for me to explain this on the blackboard. So let's get on the blackboard.
All right, so whenever we're working with the nested loops, it's always best to visualize it in terms of a table in rows and columns. It makes it much easier to work with the problem. So let's see, on which columns do we have the pound symbol, right? We need to figure that out. We have it here, column 1, row 1. We have it column 1, row 2. As you can see, this is 1 is equal to 1. Column 1 is less than 2. Let's see here. Column 2, row 2. We know that 2 is equal to 2, right? And let's see this one. There's column 3, row 3. We can see that 3 is equal to 3. Just by looking at this, we know that all the columns that have the pound symbol satisfy this condition. Column is either less or equal to the row.
All right, since we figured out the condition logic, the code is easy. So here we'll say if column is less than or equal to row. Then append this line. Append pound to the line. Else append space. Let's save it and run the code. As you can see, we're getting the desired output. This is the solution to the problem. Let's try with another number, like let's try with 6. Oops. As you can see, we're getting the correct string pattern. Thank you for your time. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please like or leave a comment, subscribe to the channel.